All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. My name is Jesus Garcia, and I am a solutions architect here at Abnormal. And I'd like to thank everyone here for joining us today for the first ThreatStream webinar of 2026. Remember, ThreatStream, it's designed for the security practitioners in the field. And every month, this team is going to break down real attacks that we see in the wild. We're going to break down why these attacks are so successful and how the abnormal platform can detect and automatically remediate against those advanced attacks. Now, today's session, it is going to be dedicated towards duo passcodes and how it's plaguing the sled space. Our abnormal AI research team has identified ongoing duo phishing campaigns that is targeting educational institutions. And these phishing campaigns have successfully compromised over 40 organizations, with 30 of those orgs being universities or colleges in the SLED space. Now, let me show you guys what we've got on the agenda for today. So the first thing we're going to talk about the threat. What exactly is this duo phishing campaign? And two, not only are we going to give you guys an overview, but I'm also going to show you guys what this threat looks like in action. Following that, we'll then be doing a demo. I'm going to show you within the abnormal platform how we can detect and automatically remediate against account takeovers. And last but not least, we're going to do questions. So if there are, we're going to do a Q&A. If there are any questions throughout this session, please don't hesitate to use that Q&A feature. We're going to answer all questions at the end of this webinar. So let's talk about the threat. What exactly is the threat? What we are seeing is ongoing, sophisticated phishing campaigns that is targeting educational institutions. These malicious actors are using compromised accounts to send purpose-built phishing campaigns to unsuspecting users. These users, they receive an email, and within the contents of that email are links that direct them to a perfectly spoofed university authentication portal. These portals allow malicious actors to capture both the credentials and the Duo one-time password. Uh, the results, well, this results in real-time account takeover. This is accompanied by data exfiltration and additional lateral phishing campaigns. And these campaigns, they have successfully compromised, again, over 40 organizations. I just want to stop sharing my screen. There's a lot of words on this. Like prior to joining up with Abnormal, I spent 17 years providing IT and security support to K-12 institutions. And I can tell you right now that a compromised teacher account, it is a big deal. Those outside of the SLED space may think it's not, but those that have worked in SLED, we know that teachers, they unfortunately store sensitive information in places they are not supposed to. They store it on their desktop or their network drive or their Google Drive or their OneDrive. And we've all heard of lateral movement, right? The classic lateral movement. I compromise an account, then I laterally pivot into the IT department. I become a global admin, a domain admin, and then I ransomware everything, right? But in the SLED space, it's not just lateral movement to IT that we've got to be on the lookout for, right? Lateral movement to a registrar is also very dangerous because registrars, they have access to the student social security numbers. Lateral movement to a principal or a dean, they have access to budgets that they can approve. And if a malicious actor laterally moves to the finance department, they can cause all kinds of havoc, right? Then they can commit payroll fraud, they can commit invoice fraud. Really, just take some time to evaluate your email security architecture and ask yourself, what technical controls do I have in place to protect my registrars and finance users from the lateral phishing attacks so that this also does not happen to me? Let me get my screen back. All right, so how do we fix this problem? Well, defenses, right? We got to start deploying behavioral email detection to identify phishing attacks from compromised internal accounts. What else do we got to do? Well, we've got to implement real-time detection of not only the anomalous one-time password usage, right? We've got to monitor suspicious sign-ins, and we also need the ability to identify malicious mailbox rules within our environments. And last but not least, of course, we have to continuously monitor our SaaS posture. We got to have the ability to enforce and roll out MFA policies, and we have to stay vigilant and stay alert for drifts within our configurations. Now, we talked about the threat. Let's look at what does this threat look like in action. So we've seen a few different variances of these kinds of attacks, right? Some of them are about health insurance. We see some that are about payroll. Some are about awards. In this particular case, this attack was about health insurance. Now, I really just want to focus in on this date right here, August 25th, right? You're probably wondering, Jesus, why are we calling out the date? Well, there's a difference in insurance cycles in the education space versus the private space. Those of you in the audience, go ahead and raise your hand if your insurance cycle starts in September. Ah, I see Saeed's hand right up. Sreko, your hand is up too. Right? But these attacks, it's perfectly timed, right? One, our users, they're already stressed out and heavily distracted with the start of the school year drama that happens every single year. And not only that, the insurance cycle, like I just mentioned, it starts in September in the education space. So our users, they're expecting, they are waiting to receive emails just like this one. Now, you're probably also wondering, well, Jesus, why are our users receiving these emails to begin with? We have email security. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have email security, right? These 40 orgs that I mentioned earlier, they had email security too. Remember, these emails are originating from compromised internal accounts. This is east-west, internal to internal emails within your tenant. Organizations, they are now realizing that how traditional tools handle all of that east-west traffic, it's common in the seg space. And that's because of where it's positioned in the mail flow, right? Traditional secure email gateways sit at the perimeter of your mail flow, and they're designed to inspect north or south or inbound and outbound email flows. So that east-west, those internal to internal emails, it's going to be really difficult for a third-party secure email gateway to detect them because technically these emails, they don't flow through that third-party seg sitting at the MX record. You're going to need an additional add-on or additional config changes or a separate product altogether to identify all of that east-west traffic. That's why attacks like direct send abuse, we just did a threat stream webinar on this the other month. That's why attacks like direct send abuse are highly successful because those attacks, they also don't flow through that third party secure email gateway that is sitting on the MX record. All right. Uh, we now have an understanding as to why these emails are getting delivered, right? Let's now talk about why the link itself is so successful, right? Once the user clicks on the link, they are then directed to a pixel perfect impersonated CAS login page, central authentication system. The underlying code that's behind this website, it's going to capture credentials through a simple JavaScript event handler. When our users, they're going to enter their username, when they enter their password, and when they click on this login button, the script, it's going to intercept the form submission, preventing it from being sent normally. It's instead appends the credentials as a URL parameter. And this is going to ensure that the malicious actor can seamlessly carry that stolen data into the next stage of the phishing flow. And that's where they also capture that duo one-time password. The users, well, they are automatically redirected to a legitimate, real university page concealing the compromise after the submission. So, what do the malicious actors know? What do they have? Malicious actors, they know exactly what the CAS login page looks like, right? Because there's nobody in the SLED space that is forcing their students to VPN to access the CAS. Two, malicious actors, they also have access to purpose-built phishing kits. And that's what's providing these pixel perfect clones of the CAS login pages. And they've also fully automated the capture of both the credentials and the one-time password. And on top of all of this, like I mentioned earlier, they perfectly timed this email. So what does all of this result in, right? It's going to result in account takeover. What we're seeing is real-time credential validation through RDP infrastructure. This is all before that Duo one-time password can expire. As a matter of fact, this is occurring within 30 to 90 seconds of user submission. So that's not even enough time for a security admin to enjoy their first cup of coffee, right? And the users, remember, they are being redirected to legitimate university pages after the submission. So they also don't know that this is going on. So now the malicious actors, what do they have? They have persistent access to the account, right? They're going to start creating mailbox rules to hide their activity, and they're going to start forwarding financial data. And you know what else they're going to do? They're going to continue to send additional lateral, again, east-west phishing campaigns. After all, the SEG, it didn't catch them the first time. All right, demo portion. All right, let me stop sharing here, and we will share my screen of our demo portal. Okay, think you guys can see the demo portal?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So this is the homepage of the Abnormal platform. This is going to be the dashboard page. But what I really want to show you guys is our account takeover feature. ATO account takeover, it's an additional add-on within the Abnormal platform. And what it's going to do, it's going to provide your organization with 24/7, 365 account monitoring. If we detect any kind of abnormal behavior, right? Had to throw that in, we're going to create what's called an account takeover case. Now, here we see 5 cases are open. Let's just dive into this Audrey Johnson case. Now, you're going to see a lot of activity on this page. But what I really want to focus on over here, let me get my laser out, is the right-hand side, right? It just highlights the Abnormal platform's ability to automatically create custom tailored baselines for every single user in your domain. And it's with this baseline of information, wait, sorry, we get this information via our integration with Entra ID. Want to make sure you guys are aware of this. And what we do with that information, we start collecting metrics. We're going to be able to tell you guys the location that this account typically signs in from, right? The city, the state, the country. What IP address does my user typically use? What is my go-to web browser for my user? What operating systems are my accounts typically being signed in from? And not only that, we're also going to be able to show you guys the applications and services that users are using when they sign in. So, yeah, Jesus, why is this important, right? So it's important because if you don't have a baseline of good behavior, you're not going to be able to detect abnormalities against a baseline of good behavior if you don't have one. It's as simple as that. At the end of this session, just go back and ask your teams, hey, do we have this information? Do we have a baseline of good behavior? Because if you do, you'd be able to answer certain questions, right? What is the IP address that my CEO uses when he signs in from? What is the go-to web browser of my chief financial officer? My CTO, my chief technology officer, what operating systems does he typically use when he's working? Because if you don't have that baseline, you're not going to be able to detect abnormalities. And here on the left-hand side, you're going to see the importance of going that extra mile, of collecting all of those statistics and all of those metrics. Again, we are an API-based architecture, so we do have an integration available with Atka, and it's via this integration that we get an Atka event. Now, here, this event, it provides this IP address information. This IP has never been used by this account before, and it also has never been used by any member within our organization. Also, it's going to give us location information. Hong Kong. This is a location that's considered highly risky by the abnormal platform. Sorry. Following this abnormal, we're going to see that behavior. We're going to create what's called an account takeover case. And following this, also at the same time, because we are an API-based architecture, we do have an integration with CrowdStrike. So the abnormal platform, we can enrich the Falcon platform. And what we're going to do is we're going to add this Audrey Johnson account to CrowdStrike's watch list. Following this, we see a suspicious sign-in event from Microsoft. This gives us additional information. Yandex browser 1811. This is a web browser that has not been used ever by this user and has not been used by any member within your organization. And we're also going to get information like MFA. In this case, MFA was satisfied. Just just really think about that, right? Traditional tools, they're going to see that valid username and password. They're going to see that valid MFA token, and it is then going to grant access to either that user or to that malicious actor. Because in the traditional sense, right, that MFA token and that password, it's good. But what's not legitimate, what's illegitimate about all of this, it's the context. It is the context of how this account is being used. It's being used from an IP address that this account has never used from before. It's being used from a web browser that not only this user has never used from before, or no one within our organization had used from before. And it's being used from a location that's considered highly risky. What the abnormal platform is going to do, it's going to provide your organization with defense in depth within the identity space. Now, following this event, what do we see? We see an unsafe mail filter rule. This is also very common in account takeover cases because what the malicious actor is trying to do, he's trying to hide his tracks. He's trying to hide any evidence of any kind of wrongdoing. Following this, we see the abnormal platform. We're starting to take action now. We're stopping email delivery. All emails with this subject line is getting blocked by the abnormal platform. And last but not least, here we finally see the abnormal platform's remediation protocol automatically getting triggered. With our integration with Entra ID, the abnormal platform, it's going to be able to revoke that user session. It's going to be able to automatically disable that account. And on top of all of this, we're going to be able to issue that password reset. Remember, we did enrich the CrowdStrike Falcon platform too. So your EDR admins, they're going to be able to see that, hey, this account was added to the watch list. They're going to be able to start hunting, right? Where is this account being used within my network? Is it running on any desktops? Did they run any kind of suspicious processes? Are there known malicious executables that this account was using during this time frame? And we also have integrations with SIEMs. So if you are sending your next generation firewall data to your SIEM, you can also start hunting within your SIEM, right? Did this user visit any kind of suspicious or known malicious domains? Some orgs, they have SOAR orchestrations too, right? So we can enrich the CrowdStrike EDR platform. We can enrich your SOAR, your SIEM with this data, and then your SOC analysts, they can then orchestrate and create automated response plans whenever an abnormal ATO case is created. Now that's it for the demo piece. Let me go back to my slides. Okay. I think y'all see it now, right?
Not yet.
No. Mm, okay. Why is it not? Oh, okay. Now you guys see it.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Next slide. Questions. Okay, we have now entered the Q&A phase. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat. Okay, so I see two Q&A questions. The first one is, do you have the IOCs of the RDP session hosts that were used in the ongoing phishing attacks? Okay, so they're talking about this slide over here. So here they're talking about the RDP infrastructure that we detected these ATO cases being sent from. I do have those IPs available. I'll drop them in the chat. There you go. Sounds like there's a threat hunter in the chat. So yeah, please feel free to use those IPs and start searching for them within your org. Um, I also have a more detailed threat report that has been provided by our threat research team. This is like 20 pages. On that report, guys, there are more domains that you can use, more IOCs, indicators of compromise, that you guys can use to look for these kinds of attacks. Hopefully, y'all are safe, but there's the information if you need it. Uh, Second question. How frequent are the impersonated login email notifications that are caught being from a SEG to an AI email security filtering? So, okay. So when it comes to impersonated logins, right? A lot of customers, they have what's called impersonation protection within their secure email gateway. Uh, a lot of third-party SEGs do that. What we're going to do is we're going to provide impersonation protection for every single user in your organization. So I know you're used to going into the secure email gateways and you're used to configuring display names for your SEG to protect, right? With abnormal, you don't have to maintain lists of display names. You don't have to tell the abnormal platform who your VIPs are because within our integration with Entra ID, we can identify the VIPs via the title attribute. So with that title attribute, we could see the directors, we could see your officers, we know who your VIPs are, and we're going to provide impersonation protection for every single user. And this is automatic, okay? And again, what this is defense in depth email security architecture. So even if you have a SEG and the email passed through the SEG, Abnormal is going to provide you those protections at the mailbox layer. So even if it was approved upstream, Abnormal, it's still going to provide you those impersonation protections at the mailbox layer. And I think that's it. Okay, that was the last question. Okay. Yep, that was it. All right, next slide. All right, upcoming session. If you liked today's session, uh, please join us next month for our next threat stream webinar. David, he's going to be going even deeper into the ATO feature. He's going to be going, his session is right here. It's going to be called Inside the Takeover. And then we have Amanda Wong. She's going to be doing another session in March, and she's going to be talking about OAuth consent phishing attacks. Sorry about that. We are seeing a rise in OAuth phishing attacks, so you're not going to want to miss that session either. And we have Innovate. This is going to be happening next Wednesday. If you guys have time, I'll also be doing another session. It's called The Anatomy of an Anomaly. I would love to see y'all there if you can make it. Our CEO, Evan, he's going to be there. David, who I talked about earlier, he's also going to be there and he's going to be talking about the different kinds of attack takeover techniques that we're seeing in the wild. And Sydney, our very own Sydney, she's going to be there talking about AI phishing coach, which our AI phishing coach, it is truly, honestly, it is changing the game in the security awareness training and the phishing simulation space. So like if you look at that schedule, you guys are busy. You only have time to go to one session, go to Sydney session. Okay. You don't even have to go to Mark, go to Sydney session. Uh, next, uh, oh, FIFA World Cup tickets. Yes. If all of that information wasn't enticing enough about Innovate, uh, again, it's a virtual event. It's going to be on the 14th, next Wednesday. We're also going to be handing out swag. The first 500 attendees, they're going to receive an abnormal scarf. And not only that, every single attendee, they're going to be entered into a chance to win FIFA World Cup tickets. Don't miss out on this chance. And with that, that does conclude this presentation, guys. I'd like to thank everyone here just for setting aside some time to join us today. I know we all get flooded with all these alerts. It is a very, very busy time of the year. So y'all just setting aside some time to be here with us today. It means a lot. I've added my LinkedIn here for the abnormal and non-abnormal customers on the call today. For the abnormal customers that are on the call, if you need assistance migrating off your third-party secure email gateway, please don't hesitate to reach out. Abnormal has a free, I'm going to say it again, free SEG migration program that assists abnormal customers migrating off of third-party secure email gateways. So if there's any interest in that, like let's connect. And then for the non-abnormal customers on the call today, if you need more than just a traditional secure email gateway that's sitting at your MX record, right? If you're ready to just adopt a robust defense in-depth email security architecture, let's get connected too. Again, thank you everyone. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay ready. Thank you.